Okay, I'm not sure if I'm filming. I'll have to check and see. I'm kind of trying to do this by myself, and it's hard when you're... I think it is recording. Okay. So, anyway, before I was showing you that I was haltering my horses and what I look for... Cindy, you're photobombing. Back up. Okay, see, I'm asking with the chest to back up. So I'm going to show you different ways that you can ask your horse to move on the line or just with your hand. So he is distracted because the horses are out. He's like, hey, it's time to go eat. So I'm taking my arm over his neck and I'm putting a little pressure on it. See, look at him looking for the halter nose. So anyway, so I'm asking him to relax and give his head. And come on. So I'll just kind of rock it a little bit. He says, I was ready, but you weren't. Okay, so there, so see, he's hunting for the halter. Now, you could have him come a little farther, closer into you, towards you, would work. And then you want to make sure that your halter fits good and that you get it snugged up tight, because it needs to be up underneath the jaw and on this part of their nose to be effective. Okay, so that's Dundee. Now, he's more of a pushy horse. He's not a real giving horse, but he knows his job. So he's okay with haltering. If I go to work him online, he'll be a little different. So, so anyway, I'm going to show Catalina. Can you back off a minute so I can get Catalina up here and get her, put her into the camera. Come here, Catalina. Come here, girlfriend. Come here. Oh, there you go. Alright, here we are. Alright. Now, she is super sensitive. So I give her like that. If you can see her eye blinking, she's thinking, she's going like, oh my gosh, what? And she's looking for the halter. And she almost gets where she's vibrating when you go to put it on, because she is so much softer than Dundee. But I've tried to do everything right with her. Not to say I have, but I've tried to do everything right with her. But anyway, alright. So I'm going to show you with Dundee. Catalina, you can sit back a little bit. Okay, so I was asking you to lead. Now see, he's following me. But I'm going to ask very lightly for him to follow. He's doing better at this because he thinks he's going to go out. Okay, so then I'm going to wave my halter to ask him to back, and then if he's not, see how his head's going, I want him to stay straight. I'm going to say, I need more from you. And this never gets old. Just because you get it one day doesn't mean you're good and done. You've got to constantly always be building that relationship with them. Okay. Got it? So see, now he's being a little bit better responsive because I nipped him with the lead rope. Sit there. So he wants to come forward, and I'm having to tell him to sit. 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 Now the words are basically for me, to reinforce me to be more disciplined. It's not necessary for them to understand, but they will get to where they understand. Because I've taught them to, I've used verbal commands for many things, and there's nothing wrong with it. You just don't want to get in a habit of using it all the time, especially if you're riding, and you don't want to just totally depend on that. But they can help you in situations. So I'm going to ask him to come forward. Be your boundary. I'll pet you. That's good. Okay, another way to ask them to back, and I showed you this, is you get a hold of the halter with your thumb down, and you want to kind of start asking pressure down first, so they give to you. See, he knows what's coming. So you kind of gives to you, and then I'm gonna ask, and then I'm gonna come back towards his chest with my hand and ask him to back. Then you should be able to ask him to come forward too off of that. So I'm going to ask him to come forward off of that. And then you can also build up for them to back circles, which really helps in so many things with them. So since I'm on this side, we're kind of tight right here because I got Miss Catalina here. Okay, so I'm going to ask him to give his head first before I ask him to back. And then I'm going to ask this foot to step out and then back. Out, back. Out, back. Out, back. Out, back. Out, back. And that's how you get your circle. So, whenever you do one thing on one side, you got to make sure you do it on the other. So here we go. Now I'm going to pull him forward because he's getting close to the fence. Okay, so we're going to back, soft back, out, back, out. Here we go. There's still a fence there, I know, but you can still do it. There, back. Like I said, you know, he's 17 years old and I've been doing this with him for a long time, but you just constantly have to go through and review, and if you do, you will see the horse is better when you go to ride it, or whatever you do with it. So, that's Dundee on that. To Catalina. Here's Debbie. Okay, so here's Catalina. I'm going to ask her to back. Well, and I ask her just leading forward. See, I don't have my hands open, I have no pressure on it. She's really lighter than Dundee is, and that's what you need to work towards, is getting them to come off of the feel, not necessarily follow you, because my feet are not moving. See, I'm just asking her to move off of the feel. So now I'm going to ask her to back, and I'm just jiggling in that. Asking her to back. Kind of having a hard time with her back end, so come on, you can do it, girl. I know, they're not working right, are they? Okay, and I'm just gonna ask with my hands wide open for her to come. That's how you get them soft, is not put a lot of pressure on them. I don't like the nose being up like that, but I think she's having a hard time with her back end, trying to get it connected, because they're not united, it's not connected, and it has to do with her needing to be adjusted. Come forward again. See, the nose is better down. Alright, then I'm going to ask her to back with this. Nose down. Back. Back. Ask her to come forward. Okay, I'm going to ask her to back a circle. Dundee, you're photobombing. not quite being able to get her hind back into where it needs to go. She's struggling with that. So, like I said, that's her neurological disorder. So we're going to ask this over here, that one. See, that's better. She's got better control going that direction. So she's got something pinched in here. This is where her problem is, right down in here. I know how to adjust a horse chiropractically everywhere except that place. And the chiropractor says, oh, it's too difficult for me to learn, so, or do, I guess, so we'll let it be at that. Okay, so that's on haltering and leading.